So, we're out here working on the turd again. And what we're going to be working on today is fixing the headlights. And what do I mean by that? If we take a look here, we can see that the headlights have like a fog, but they're on the inside. I can rub this all day, nothing's going to happen. You can also see up here, all the clear coat's coming off. So this lens, this lens, this lens, and this lens are all going to be replaced today. And figured I'd show you how to do it. This is a common problem with this year especially. One thing I realized is that this hood has a water drain hole for these louvers up here, and it comes right above the headlight, which makes these fill with moisture a lot, thus causing a problem. I didn't pick up on this until about early last year. These had like 2 years of water being in and out just because of the drain hole on this, so these have seen some wear and tear. I replaced these 2 years ago. The aftermarket headlights that are available for this truck in the stock OEM format are usually junk from the start anyways. You'll probably have to run a bead of silicone around them to keep moisture from getting out to begin with. So, should you run into this problem, you'll see how to do it, and this would be a pretty good start on how to retrofit your own headlights. There's way more that gets involved with that, and because these are already retrofitted, I'm not going to do a video on that. Either way, I'm going to get these out and we'll go from there. So, it's hard to get this in one shot, so excuse the weird angle, but here's everything you will need to do this. I have my old headlights here, and my old blinker lights here, and the new ones here. You will need, I have a multi-tool, but this has pliers. You might need these, as well as a knife. Various flathead screwdrivers. I don't actually have many of these, so this is the best I could come up with. You will need a silicone gun. I have this GE Advanced black silicone, so this will be nice when you run a bead around the light, because you won't see it, unlike clear or white that would show up. And then, last but not least, woodworking clamps. So you also need a kitchen. Now that these are out, we can take a closer look at them. You can see the silicone job here. Some of these headlights, when you build them, it's easy to hide some stuff behind body lines of the vehicle. A lot of people like to use Permatex as well as Buttle. I've never used Buttle before. I've always used silicone. Here is a new headlight housing. What you'll want to do is you want to carefully inspect this, because it is possible to have a staple somewhere in this line here. Now, the reason why I use a silicone instead of Buttle is because I've just always worked with silicone. It's worked for me. I haven't heard any issues. Back when I was building headlights partnered with LED Concepts, they said if it seals and it works good, then it works. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Sometimes with these Chevy headlights, no matter what, once you open them, it's always going to be hard to get them to reseal. The actual headlight portion itself on my truck is especially problematic because of the projectors in it. There's no easy way to cover up the projectors, because the projector has to sit so far back into the housing that it sticks out the back here. This right here is the bulb. This is how far back the bulb sticks. So if you do a quad projector headlight in old Chevys, and you don't buy the spider ones that have the projector come out to here with the big tumorous bubble on the lens, you will need to cut into your radiator support as well. I haven't had any issues with that. It's no big deal. You'll also probably want a hairdryer for this, but because this silicone's so old, this will probably come out pretty quick, because you want to be careful when you pry on this stuff. You don't want to absolutely wreck this black housing because the new lens has to go into it, or if you're building headlights, the lens you bought has to go back onto it. So I set the oven to 325 and I baked it for 5 minutes. Let's see if we can pry this thing open. You want to be careful because this stuff's going to be really hot. This is where a hairdryer would come in handy. I do not have one, so we're just going to have to do the best we can with what we got. This stuff is really hot, so you really want to be careful to not burn yourself. And the shape of these headlights definitely does not make it easy to work on. But as you can see, this stuff is it's ready. It's ready to come out. So you kind of need to open up a little bit and scrape around as you go. Yeah, that's almost it. So we basically have it at this point, and then we can Captain America it. But you want to go slowly because you want to be careful down on this end with the reflector. Sometimes the reflector wants to come with the whole housing itself. More commonly it wants to. So just lift up on it, gingerly try and get it off. This is really awkward, and then you can just pull. And now you have this. You can leave it like this. If you're planning a build, you'll want more buttle to put in here into these gaps. So some of the buttle is going to come up with the top lens, but as you can see right here, there's a giant gap in buttle. There's a giant gap down there. Up here. Up here isn't too filled in either. Like, this is kind of crummy. The buttle job that's up in this gap, and down here is just going to be gunk city. So what you'll want to do when you close this, if you're doing buttle, you want to pack in more buttle, heat it up a little bit, take all the buttle off of the top lens, and kind of make up for all that buttle coming off by putting it into this gap. And then you'll want to heat this up and then squeeze it and put it on top. Because I'm not doing that method, you're not going to see that. So in that instance, you're probably going to want to find a different video. However, that's how you open your light. So let's take the lens, now that it's cooled off a little bit. We have this black piece here and this reflector. This will be coming out because I already have that taken care of in mine. So this is where you'll need another screwdriver to pry this black stuff out. And you'll want to be careful because you don't want to go too far into the lens because you don't want to scratch your lens. So best practice is to kind of go by this reflector and pry up on it. You'll want to do this pretty soon after it comes out and before the buttle heats up. So this is where you want a hair dryer or heat gun, something. For me, because I'm not using this, I'm just replacing the housing, I could basically throw this in the trash. And same thing with this reflector. This should just come out by pulling it. Once again, you'll want to do it as soon as this comes out of the oven, while this stuff is still moldable and easily to peel off and get it off. Because you'll want to take all this off and all this back off to rebuttal it and reseal it. So now we're going to take this pollen covered turd and throw this in the oven. You can see where it started to split here. So this isn't going to need a heck of a lot of time in the oven to get the silicone off and to open it up. So I'm probably gonna put this in the oven 3 minutes at 325, and this should probably come right off. So this old turd baked for 3 minutes at 325. We're gonna take it out and see if I can rip it open. Same thing as the other one. Start on the bottom, and you can see where it already started to separate. I think it needs to go in for the full 5 minutes. It's quite goopy. We're getting somewhere though. We're getting somewhere. 4 minutes probably is the sweet spot for this. So try the other one for 4 minutes. We're certainly making good progress on this one. We're just about the Captain America level. And she is open. So now would be a good time to kind of clean it all out. All this stuff, because we're gonna want to refill this with good, because I'm using silicone, with good silicone, bottle, whatever. And we will go from there. While this is still hot, I should take this out. Unfortunately, my RGB ring is up in here. So because this piece is always going to be blocked by the reflector, you can almost always pry on it and have a successful mission. Look at that, boom, easy peasy, Japanese. Pry right here, up here. No one's gonna see it. If it gets scuffed, it's no big deal. Look at that. Comes right out, and I'm gonna have reflectors you can actually see again. That's gonna be really nice. So as far as I'm concerned, this is trash. You can even see how foggy it is just with my hand back here. I mean, look at the reflection in the light. This is not a clear lens. It's garbage. That's where it belongs. So just want to kind of move in the channel. Take your flat head with the flat head facing downwards and move throughout the channel and kind of go like this. So it continually just scrapes it and pulls it up. A lot of goop. This is why I like using silicone. It's a little bit easier to work with than bottle. If your bottle fails, you can also run a silicone bead around the corner, and that should help. If you buy, like I said before, if you buy these headlights off eBay, even Amazon, it's very easy. It's very possible that they could fail anyways and start leaking. And adding silicone around the outside, a bead of silicone around the outside, and kind of flattening it out, making it nice, that's about as good as you can do. So while I take time to clean this up, I'm going to put this in the oven for about 5 minutes. That should give me enough time to clean the inside of this housing, and that should hopefully bake the bottle off enough that I can pry it open. I found that for peace of mind, when you're working with this high of heat at 325, even 350, put a wet towel on top. That way you don't melt your lens. So now we have our new lens. Put the reflector in here. And make sure it kind of lines up with the holes. You can see the hole there, big hole here. If it looks right to you, then we can send it. So next we take this piece, we kind of piece it in just as it was, kind of where it fits. Make sure it all lines up. Now you want to run a few test fits first. You also want to get all the fucking dog hair out of it. I don't know why there's dog hair. It must have been the original builder because I don't have a dog. So you want to do a test fit and kind of see where it's going to line up. With these headlights, it kind of dips in and closes down. We come in here and we're going to goop the shit out of this thing. So now we got our line of silicone. I'm going to take this, to feed the cable in, the RGB ring as good as possible, which is hard with this bead of silicone. Okay. Line it up. That end goes down. And boom. We are all set. So this is when we take our clampies and try to clamp it shut. This can be a difficult task sometimes. Sometimes they don't want to clamp shut. It's all finding the right angle of how to clamp these fucking things. Alright, that's clamped on there pretty good. And what you'll want to do is all this excess up here, you'll want to take like a glove or something and kind of spread it on there. I'm going to use a junky old knife because that's what I have, but like a nitrile glove works really well for this. And you may even want to run a outside bead up in an area where you know no one's going to see it, but will offer you some good rain protection for the seam line. The top is kind of where you want to be the most strict, I guess you could say. This was put in for 7 minutes at 325. These ones are a bitch to open, but it's the same principle. Take the silicone off your screwdriver. Come down here. This is too hot for me to handle at the moment. And start prying from bottom down to up. So go down, pry up, go down, pry up. Here, go down, pry up, pry up, pry up, pry up. And this one came apart real easily. Like, really way too easily. So I don't think the bottle on this was too great to begin with. So now we have this off. I'm going to be swapping over my reflectors, so this reflector itself can come out. It's useless to me. This is also way too hot. Same thing as the other one. You want to take your bottle silicone off. Careful, it's really, really freaking hot. Really hot. Also, if you're doing this in your mom's house, don't use her good pans because you don't want to get silicone all over her pans. They'll get grounded. Let's get this reflector out. Nobody likes orange reflectors. They're stupid. They suck. They just look dumb. This, get rid of it. I want it. I want them gone. So now we have a clearer lens and we can continue to work on getting the rest of this crap off. So this one baked way too long. Way too long. That's what I get for trying to do multiple things at once. However, my aptitude for caring is basically none because this is junk. So this can go in the trash for all I really care. So long as the black piece is in good condition, I do not care about this lens. You're obviously not going to want this to happen if you will be rebuilding it. That lens got annihilated. I should replace these bottoms, but I'm not capable of painting the bottom currently. I have a show tomorrow I need to go to, so that will wait for another time. Once again, same thing. I'm gonna go through. Okay, that was much hotter than I wanted to deal with. But yeah, same thing as last time. Go through and take out the silicone. And now, because I'm not doing two things at once, this will be done much better. So what you do is snap this reflector in here. It's basically good to go on, and we're gonna silicone it. It snaps in like this and then closes down. So I'm gonna put this to the side for now, and I'm gonna silicone the piss out of this. So now that there's a thick bead of silicone all around it, what we do is shove this down here, bring it over, and then we gotta smush it down and clamp it. And once again, run the bead if you have any overflow. Spread it on like some Nutella. Okay, and then we're gonna clamp it shut. As it's clamped like this, now could be a good time to continue to run the bead, but you don't have to if you don't want to, and then it should sit and dry and then cure, and then you are all set. So as you can see here, I have my woodworking clamps on these headlights. These Chevy headlights in particular are really difficult to get them on because you want it to clamp evenly all the way around. I know some people like to use rubber bands. I just like the clamps because it's easy to be done with it. But you're definitely going to need some varying sizes. So I have one small one on the end here, one long one here, and they're kind of gripped in the best spot. Probably best to try a few test grips before even opening these to see where you can actually squeeze them and put them together, because you want it to be an even press in. You don't want this side to be in and this side a little bit out, if you catch my drift. So using my finger and a nitrile glove, what I did was I put a bead all the way around the silicone, and then I took my finger and I just brushed it along, ran the bead. These sat for about 45 minutes to an hour clamped, and they'll probably be done curing by tomorrow morning. So these will be good, and that one will be all done. That's probably going to stay clamped over the night. There's no reason to unclamp it, and I already ran the bead as it was clamped, which is possible to do. I just wanted to get these done and then get on to the next set, which is why I took the clamps off this one. So that's basically it. If you enjoyed this headlight tutorial video and want to see more of me messing around with the truck, working on it, fixing it, and other type of tutorial type stuff, make sure you let me know, and stay tuned for more, and thanks for watching.